Hello and welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK, where I want to start June by giving you a garden tour and a project update. We're in the parterre at the front of the cottage and you can see the hydrangea Annabelle are about to start flowering. These are those Peruvian daffodils which are like white spider lilies, and we've got white agapanthus. So all this by next month will be awash with white blooms. Anyway, let's get on with the tour and the project update. Now, my garden, I think a lot of people would start one project and finish it before they started another, but my garden is slightly different in approach. I start several and they run in tandem. So my garden is a little bit like an episode of Coronation Street where you get to visit several different storylines, and the storyline here is I'm creating an arid bed. I've dug away the turf and I've ordered the plants. The next thing to do here, the next thing which will happen is I shall order some gravel. I'll put weed fabric down, put gravel in, and I shall plant these wonderful arid desert beds, plants into this bed. Now, I don't profess to be an expert on arid plants, so I'm going to do research on each and every one of these plants and put together a little fact file so that I know what I'm doing when I plant them, and I'll share that information with you when I get round to planting them. These are my Belfast sinks, which are going to be moved somewhere else in the garden. And of course we have the Mediterranean scented border with the lavenders, which are going to be resplendent in a month's time, and my standard olive balls. So I'm going to show you a project which I've not spoken about in great detail yet. It's a little fish pond which I'm creating. I'm going to use this solar panelled fish pump here with that fish, and over here by the piggery wall there's going to be a small formal koi pool. You can see I've already started digging. It's about 3 foot deep and about 12 foot wide. It's going to be very formal, and there's going to be that goldfish in it, and there's going to be water pouring out of this wall. So that's a little project that I'm going to be sharing with you in the next month or so. Some gunner there, which problematic because they've just been banned, and I was planning on planting those by my wildlife pond, but I think the best I'm going to be able to do really is plant the tubs in the ground up so that they look like they're planted. Look at this self-sown foxglove. I'm going to show you more of these in a moment because I've benefited somehow, and it may be birds in trees, I don't know, but I've benefited somehow from a huge crop of those at another part of the garden, which look absolutely beautiful. Let's venture into the exotic tropical border. Tetrapanics, look at it, you're doing incredibly well. Musa Bajju bananas. This is all starting to explode in growth. I've got colocasia pink china down here, Canna musifolia, another type of canna, crinium, Musa Bajju bananas. These are all gingers, some more pink china, a mahonia, sweet winter, persicaria, Fatsia japonica. This is the one that I raised the canopy on, can you see? I wanted to let light down to the base. And that there is a colocasia esculenta, which has survived 2 winters in the ground. I'm very pleased with that. These Canna musifolia, I think, have got a virus, but I'm going to leave them in place. Then we have another Tetrapanics, which shut off from one down here, which I've just moved. Foxtail lily, which is about to be a beautiful bloom. Pineapple lily, tree fern. Let's just venture quickly into the fernery. The tree ferns are all doing very well this year. Love the way they've come on. I've just put a couple of pellets of pelleted chicken manure in the top of each, only a couple. And then we have our fern garden and hostas. Look at those. Amazing hostas. Look at the size of the leaf on those. Empress Woo, Jurassic Park, arum lily. Lots of ferns going round through. There's my pan to give it a gothic feel. That down there is a hart's tongue fern, in front of which there's another arum lily. The ground completely covered in, mind your own business. Now look at this. One of these slug and snail resistant plants has been eaten by a slug or a snail, so not completely slug or snail resistant. These are my houseplants down here. I've brought my houseplants out for the summer. into a shady position where they'll enjoy some proper daylight. Right, let's go over to the Jurassic Jungle Wildlife Pond. Oh, but while we're passing, just let's have a look. A big pile of carpet. Remember that you've seen that. That's evidence that I'm about to start a project which I've been promising to do for months now. Here's the olive grove. The olives that I bought from Costco, 3 of them. Quite a big investment, but lovely, amazing plants and will last me a lifetime. Have now been planted. In here, there's going to be a water feature at the top and a stream running down through the space, and there's going to be a bench over there so that you can sit and the water will run past, and there will be a path dissecting the space right through the centre. Something to look forward to. I'm practicing no mow May at the moment, which is why the lawn is looking like a meadow, but isn't it wonderful? If I just take the camera down, look at the way the grass just waves in the wind. I actually love the look of it, but I am going to cut it, because if I don't, I won't be able to get on top of it come the winter time. Right, so this is the big project at the moment, the Jurassic Jungle Garden. And if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I've just created these 3 kind of almost like canal-shaped bodies. These are going to be bodies of water. The birds that have been... Can you see the birds there? This pond is a magnet for birds. They come down here and bathe and drink. Anyway, getting back to the plot. 3 mounds have been created by digging 3 holes. These 3 holes are going to be pools which are going to have native fish in. That's another tree fern there. One of the things I'm doing imminently is sighting that. It's got a bend to it. So that has to be sighted there so that it leans out over the water. Here's another 2 gunnery. And just to demonstrate what I was trying to say earlier, I've just sunk the pots into the ground there. Can you see? So they look as if they're planted. Look at that there, look. Look at that flower spike. Isn't that superb? Let me go and show you these foxgloves. They're up there at the back of the gunnery, but I want you to see them a bit closer, so we'll climb up this mound of earth. I've not planted these. I don't know where these have come from, but aren't they amazing? A forest of them. Wonderful plants. I do know that they can be invasive, because each one of these will produce 1,000, if not 1,000,000 seeds, but look at that, isn't that beautiful? Wow. My foxglove forest. And down here, there's a nice view of the wildlife pond, and these are going to be 3 new bodies of water. That's what that carpet is for. I'm going to put carpet in before I put my pond liners in. And there's that bendy tree fern which will be positioned here, leaning out over. But look here, look. All these flowers that you see, these blooms and blossoms, are from last year's seeds that sowed themselves, reseeded themselves. With that bee there, can you see that bee? This is why you need wildflowers in your garden, for these insects, these pollinators. You can sit and watch them all day, me. So there we go. Bit of an update on the Jurassic Jungle Border project, and we shall hop over here. Nettles and buddleias. Now, people come to my garden and say, oh, look at all these nettles. I leave them deliberately. They are here because I want them to be here. They are such a good plant to have in a wildlife garden. Look at the aphids on that there, on that thistle. And you might think, why would you want aphids in a garden? Well, you want everything in a wildlife garden. You want biodiversity. You want aphids, you want ants, you want bees, wasps, all kinds of insects and invertebrates. You want amphibians, and you want birds. And I know I've got amphibians in my garden because, as again, I will say once again, if you've been following my channel, you know that I've had newts, frogs, toads in this pond after only 1 year. And I now have baby newts, which are known as efts, in the water. Look at that arum lily there. Wonderful. So there is an update on the projects I've got going on in the garden at the moment. I'll put these 2 tree ferns here just to sort of guard the entrance. But in 12 months' time, maybe 2 years' time, this will be a completely separate, divided off space, because those 2 mounds, the plants that I've planted into them, will grow up to a 10-foot hedge, and you won't be able to see in there. So my desire is that, and my plan is that you walk through this gap here and you enter a theatre, a magical wildlife theatre with water, bodies of water with native fish, roach, tench, perch, rudd, and then a wildlife pond here which doesn't have any fish in it. There's not going to be any fish in this one. And up there is going to be a platform with a gazebo on it. There we have it, a bit of an update. I'm going to climb that mound and then look back at the cottage and the wildlife pond and say goodbye, and let you know that in the next week or 2 you should see quite a lot of progress on these projects. I've just gone through quite a little bit of work, private work, and now I've got quite a bit of time to focus on the house and garden. I'll see you soon for some more wildlife adventures. Bye for now.